Wow, that was quick. Super annoying. We just started and it's already on audio only. Well, we'll be back in a minute and I will get to the... Yeah, bad connection. Super annoying. I know, bad connection. Sorry about that. But I will be hopefully standing in one place shortly. And this will... You can see me now, I hope. I am going to be at WeWork in 2 minutes. I will stand in one place. Hopefully that will help. I'm hoping. Wish I could stay up for this one. Give a recap later. I will definitely do that, Phil. Sorry I'm starting so late. Had a long morning. Anyway, good morning, Shy. All right, we're good, guys. Thumbs up. Works okay. You see me okay? You hear me okay? Let me know. How was your holiday? Holiday was good. Too many carbs. Is this post going to make me hungry? John, I don't know. What'd you eat for breakfast? No, this is not going to make you hungry, but it's actually a very interesting comparison that I once heard from one of my first bosses back in the finance world, actually. There was a lot of SEO being done in that company, and so we were talking about SEO, search engine optimization, and he made this comparison. I celebrated 1 day of Shavuot, not 2 days. He made this comparison, and I actually thought it was kind of brilliant. And I've been kind of like baking it in my head for a few years, to be honest with you. And then last week or 2 weeks ago, I I shared it for the first time with someone who's a lot smarter than I am, and I shared it with the CMO of Google Israel, Chief Marketing Officer of Google Israel, and I asked him his opinion on this, and I can't say to my surprise, because I pretty much knew this before, but he basically said to me, as far as SEO and search is concerned, this is a spot-on comparison. So this has a stamp of approval from the Chief Marketing Officer of Google Israel that this is indeed spot on. And the topic is the comparison or the common thread between opening up a restaurant and marketing your startup. So at the very foundation of this is basically the concept that if you're opening a restaurant, your goal is what? Your goal is to bring people to your restaurant, right? And if you're opening a startup, your goal is to have people use your product, talk about you, download your app, whatever it is you're offering, but to be in the public, consciousness. So let's discuss a restaurant. What's the first thing you do when you open up a restaurant, right? The first thing you do, and this is going to be a lot of focus on search specifically, but it really applies across the board with all kinds of marketing. But definitely, I would say it's very important in terms of search and getting traffic from Google, Bing, or whatever the search engines. So if you open up a restaurant, what's the first thing you're going to do? First thing you're going to do is, if someone passes by your restaurant, you want them to come in. So you need to put a sign outside, right? What are you, right? If I'm passing by your restaurant and I don't know if you're selling me hamburgers or pizza, I'm not coming in. I need to know what you are, who you are, and why I should come in. First of all, put a sign outside. And that's kind of the search, or the title on your website, right? The header. So if I come across your site on search, I need to know what you are, right? Whether it's a one-liner, whatever it is, who are you? Why should I click through? Why should I come to your site? And that, again, applies across the board. It's obviously much more important in search, but, if anybody's sharing your website, whether it's on Facebook, right? So whatever it is they're sharing it, a preview or a tagline or a one-liner should be associated with your site. And that one-liner is really everything, because that's going to bring me in. That's the sign outside your restaurant. That's great. Now, what's the most important thing in a restaurant? What's the most important thing in a restaurant? I know there's a little bit of a delay on Meerkast, so I'm asking you a question. Honestly, what is the most important thing in a restaurant, right? What brings you to a restaurant at the end of the day? What's the most important thing? I'm going to wait for answers. I'm assuming, there's like a 10-second delay, so it's going to take some time, but I'm genuinely asking you, what is the most important thing in a restaurant? Hey, Roz, good morning. Shari, what's cooking? Shoshana, how you doing? Come on, guys, what's the most important thing in a restaurant? Hey, Guy, what's going on? Guy Malachi, wow, I'm honored, man. Who else is here? Sharona, what's cooking? Hauser, how you doing? What's the most important thing in a restaurant, people? Nobody? Really? So, clearly, you all know the answer. Of course, atmosphere. I would say that's number 2. If you have a great atmosphere and you don't have good food, you're a restaurant at the end of the day, right? Food is, I think, most important. I think most people would say food is the most important thing in a restaurant. The food of your restaurant is the content on your site. if I come to your restaurant because I was marketed to, I saw an ad or I saw a sign or whatever it is, food, right? Food, consistency, absolutely. Food, and consistency. Good point, Sherry. Well, you've heard this before. So food is the most important thing at the end of the day, and that's the content on your site. If you bring me into your site, you bring me into your restaurant, and the food just isn't good, the content isn't good, you got me, but you lost me. I'm never coming back. At the end of the day, food is the most important thing. That is content, right? Now, what does that mean? And Sherry said consistency, right? So if I come in once and I have good food, and then I come in again and the food's horrible, then we haven't really accomplished anything. Consistently good food. I'm standing still here by WeWork. So here, let me show you WeWork. Hold on a second. This is WeWork right here. This is WeWork. Okay, so we said food, right? Food is the most important thing. At the end of the day, you know, if your food's not good, if your content's not good on your site, and it's, you know, static, right? If food is just bland and dry, and your content isn't dynamic, doesn't update, there's no refresh, no reason for me to come back. At the end of the day, I'm not coming back to your restaurant, and that's the content on your site. Great. Second thing you guys all said here is the ambience, the atmosphere, right? Is it a good atmosphere? Do things move? Is it fast? That is the performance of your website, right? If your site has errors, if it's not mobile optimized, if it's not a good experience, when I say site, again, it applies to your product. If your product's not good, it's not a good user experience, I download your app and it's slow and it's painful and it's buggy. I come to your website and I click on a link, it takes 30 seconds to open. You know, I access it on my mobile and it doesn't even load. You know, if the waitresses don't move in the restaurant, it could be great food, but it's annoying, it's not a good experience, I am not coming back, right? So first and foremost, we said there's food, content. Second thing about the restaurant that's most important, well, before the food, by the way, again, we said first is the sign outside your restaurant, right? The title on your website, whatever it is, the description, your one-liner, your pitch to the world, elevator pitch, call it whatever you want. Then is the food, the content. I guess if I'm talking about the app world, I guess the value of your app or what problem it really solves. Then the atmosphere, right? The optimization of your site. If it doesn't move, and you know, if it's just an annoying experience, right? If I go into a restaurant and it's an annoying experience, the food could be great, I am not coming back. That is super, super important. Equally as important maybe as the food, maybe one you know, step down, but it's very, very important. And so don't, you know, belittle the importance of having a mobile optimized site, you know, responsive, and you know, the user experience is of utmost importance. Speaking, and I, you know, as I'm saying these words, I'm thinking to myself, I myself, you know, I'm guilty of working at companies such as Zula right now that needs to update our website big time. Just like putting my dirty laundry out there so that nobody says, oh, but Zula's not. It's not. So we have to update our site. We're working on it right now, but we're focused, you know, very, very important. Another thing is just generally is focus. So we're very much focused right now on product, but absolutely the top of our priorities, and Roz, our CEO, is here, so he'll agree with me. Top of our priorities is definitely to update the site and make it a more pleasant and delightful experience. But before we do that, we need to offer that delightful experience in our product itself. So that's what we're doing right now. But your website, I've never been so annoyed by blinker. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm turning the blinkers off. Sorry, John. Thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that. Shocking stream for this Android user. Maybe it's my phone. That's not good. I've never been so, I apologize about that. Okay, good. Now, let's talk about scale, right? So if I want to bring in 1 million people to my, also, so you should close down the site if the UX is poor. I didn't say that. No, definitely don't close down your site. You need a site. But, you know, at the end of the day, work hard on providing a good experience. So let's talk about scale. You know, you're not going to bring in 1 million people to your restaurant by putting a sign outside. Turn off your blinker. It's off, Roz. Thank you. Sorry about that. It's actually my hazard lights. I'm standing here in like a parking lot in front of WeWork. I don't want someone to like rear end me, but it's okay. I hope that would be embarrassing on live on Meerkast if someone rear ended me. Anyway, so you're not going to bring scale, right? You're not going to bring 1 million people by putting a sign outside your restaurant. How are you going to bring 1 million people into your restaurant? When food journals write about you, right? The more food journals that write about you, the more people that talk about you, the more people will hear about you and come to your restaurant. And that's the truth. The same is true about websites and products. But let's talk about websites for 1 second if we're focusing on search. The more links you get, The more people talking about you, right? The more people hear about you, and then that spreads. And that's just not really how the internet works, right? The more people talk about you, the more links you get, the more traffic you'll get, the more search, rankings you'll get. Now, how do people kind of like try to bypass this? They buy links, right? They call and say, link to me, I'll link. Forget that crap. How do you get food journals to write about you? How do you get food journals to write about you? By giving good food, right? Good content. Good content will get you more links, will get you more traffic, will help you in the search, rankings. That is the fundamental principle. You're opening up a restaurant, offer a great experience, offer great food, and people will talk about you. The more people talk about you, the more people hear about you. The more people hear about you, the more people talk about you, and it goes on, right? A snowball. So the same is true for your product, for your startup. Write content. And if you guys have been following me and you don't know this by now, then I failed at my job, because I always talk about this. At the end of the day, writing content will help you brand yourself, will help you drive traffic, through social, but maybe the most important thing is it will help you help you in the rankings of search. And search, at the end of the day, even today in 2015, getting your rear ended would get viewers and traffic. That's true. Even in 2015, as far as I know, last I checked, search still drives the most traffic to most sites. Social is very close, but search still wins. So to all you SEOs out there, SEO is not dead. It's far from it. But black hat SEO is ridiculous, right? Paying for links, doing things that against what Google's saying to you. When I say Google, I mean the other search engines. Write good content, get more links organically, naturally, and then you will increase. You will go up in the search rankings. And that's really the bottom line with restaurants, right? You write good food, people will hear about you, people will come. So that's that. Now let's talk about it a little bit on the negative side. Good morning, Mo. Let's talk about it a little bit on the negative side. Stay with me here. I'm in a restaurant and I eat a really, really good dish. And I'm loving it. And then I go out of this restaurant, I go down the block 50 feet, and there's a restaurant, okay, that's been around 50 years before the first restaurant. Okay, so we got two restaurants. One I ate in that's relatively new, and then I go down the block and I see another restaurant that's been around 50 years. I go into the older restaurant, there's the exact same dish, exact same name, and it tastes identical. So what will I assume? I'll assume that the restaurant where I ate copied from this restaurant, because these guys were first and, they copied from them. And that's what's called duplicate content on the internet. At the end of the day, the goal is to write good content. So why don't I just go into the New York Times and copy the entire site and paste it on my site? Boom, finished. I have good content, right? Hello, I stay up late every time you stream because it's worth it. By the way, about to order my first professional drone. Awesome. Which one are you ordering, man? That's awesome. Jeff is awesome. Jeff does great work. So the same thing is true with duplicate content on the internet. You can copy and paste everything from now till tomorrow. Not only will that not get you traffic because Google will assume you copied from the New York Times, but it will actually, Google will actually penalize you. Actually, that's illegal. Plagiarism, obviously. And trust me, people say flattery is the best, imitation is the best form of flattery. That's the person who said that is a person that never got his content stolen. And as a person who has gotten his content stolen, it is not fun. I actually found a quote-unquote colleague, just get out of the way here, a colleague of mine who works in the same industry, and many mutual friends. Once I literally found that he was plagiarizing word for word things that I wrote, and I reached out to him like, dude, what is going on? He didn't even deny it. He's like, oh, I'll delete it. I was like, how did you think that was okay? So the answer is, and there are actually sites that make a living on this, that take content and they just duplicate it and they just copy and paste. The right way to do it, as any SEO will tell you, is to have a little paragraph and link back to the source. There are ways around it with all kinds of special links, but putting that aside, if you're going to copy content, copy a little bit and link back to the source and give attribution. But to just copy and paste won't work. The same way it won't work in a restaurant. You will not get credit for something if you copy a restaurant that's been around 50 years before that. I know, I don't want to hear the scenarios. The bottom line is that with content on the web, on the internet, don't copy and paste, because that is duplicate content and Google will kill you for that. But the goal of building a website, goal of building a product, is to give great content, great value, if I'm talking about kind of the app ecosystem or as opposed to a website. Updating dynamic content, it has to be unique, obviously, and good quality. But to be honest with you, and I don't mean to sound cynical, but out of those four things that I just mentioned, it has to be dynamic, updating, it has to be unique. And quality, is important. I'm not saying to write crappy and full of typos and inaccurate stuff, but it's the most important. Volume's the most important. I'm not going to name names of blogs that we all know and read, that the content, top 5 reasons this, top 5 reasons that, top 5 reasons. It's like, it's not exactly rocket science, but they write so much. And the more decent content you write, it doesn't have to be, 1,000-word articles, but good content in terms of not having typos, not having inaccuracies. You write a lot of that, you'll get a lot of traffic. As far as in my experience shows, you write X amount of content, you'll get X traffic. You write 2X content, you get 2X traffic. There's no games, there's no magic. I tell every startup, if they have endless resources, hire someone full-time to just write 50 posts a day for all I care. Now, again, that's obviously not realistic because no one has those resources, but in an ideal world, every startup should also be a content company. I kid you not. Now, again, not realistic, but the point is to write good content as often as you can, and that will get you, as a startup, branding. It will get you traffic through social and search. Let's talk a little bit about search and, DJI Inspire 1, awesome. So, I got to try that one. Vic Kondatra was busted flying that in a park last week with his daughter. Vic was the senior VP engineering at Google, who was in charge of Google+. Which actually leads me to my next point. Since we're talking about search, and we were talking about the DJI Inspire 1 drone, let's talk about Google+ for 1 second. I'm definitely going to do another entire Meerkat on this because this is a big topic. But I'm just going to say one thing, and then I'm going to head off to Zula HQ. I will say that, and this is not even, I can't even say for everyone that thinks this, because everyone thinks this. If you are a startup, or for that matter, an individual looking to build a brand, or a company looking to build a brand, and you're ignoring Google+, you're a fool. And again, I don't mean to say that as like kind of person. You're not all fools, because none of you are on Google+. So, but it's a really big mistake, and I'll tell you why. Hello, rocks the Meerkat. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, we're definitely gonna collaborate. I really appreciate that. Listen, for starters, let's talk about numbers, okay? Because that's really what, at the end of the day, most companies care about. I've been on Twitter for 7 years. I have 30,000 followers. Good frozen pose. I hope I'm back. Let me know if I'm back. Yes, we can still hear you. Okay, but now I missed what you said about being a startup. I'm getting into Google+. I actually had to do a Google training for teachers. We can still hear you. Okay, let me know if you can see me now. I'm meeting LeBron James for the first time. I put it on Facebook. I got like 70 comments. I put it on Twitter. I got like 15 or 30 retweets. I put it on Google+. I got like 1,500 shares. 1,500. Bumpy connection. Hi, man. Been on Google+ for a long time. Hangouts, SEO, and community make it worth my time. Yes. Yes, Dove. It's definitely on Android. I don't know if I'm back now, but it says that I'm back. So what I was saying is that it could be that Google will shut down Google+. I don't know, right? But this is what I was saying before. The fact that they disconnected photos does not in any way indicate that they're going to shut down the platform. Can't hear you now. What is going on today? Guys, Facebook disconnected Messenger. Facebook disconnected other things. It doesn't mean anything. It means that they saw that the way their photos were being used was an independent service, and they disconnected it. And that's it. Please do let me know if you can hear me. Hi, Sherry. I don't know if you can hear me. It's super frustrating. But anyway, back to Google+. So the numbers are the numbers. They don't lie, and they're there. Why are you experiencing very little engagement? And I have those numbers because I've spent a lot of time investing in the platform. I don't know if you guys remember early Twitter days, but early Twitter days, everyone was like, I don't need it. It's another place to update my status, and then you invested in the platform, and now you're seeing engagement. The same is true for Google+. The same is true for any platform. If you come in there and you expect to see automatic engagement immediately, instantly, with no, effort on your part, then that's just silly, right? You're walking into an empty room and you're screaming. Whereas if you build out your network there, you share good content, you engage with other people's content. Engage has become such a cliche word already. I'm so sick of it. But you interact with other people, and you're human, right? Again, you're human. Then you will see. There's no question about it. You will see good numbers there. But let's put the numbers aside for 1 second, okay? Because there's something much deeper than that. Google+, what's your next move, Hillsfold? My next move in terms of what? I don't know what you mean. Well, we're doing something crazy cool at Zula, so stay tuned for that. But anyway, forget the numbers. Let's say you get 0 engagement. Google is saying to you loud and clear, guys, this is very important. Google is saying to you, listen, if you want value on the web, you're going to have to use Google+. You use Gmail, you use, Google Maps, you use Google Search, you use all your things. Now they're saying use Google+. Why? If you want to comment on an Android app, you want to review an Android app on Google Play, you need Google+, right? You want to comment on YouTube, you need Google+. But here's the kicker. If you want more search traffic on top of organic search, you'll get Google+ results, right? At the end of the day, Google's saying to you right now, and this could change, I can't mention Google+, it'll turn you off, that's funny. Right now, Google's saying we're putting all our eggs in one basket. As of now, and this could change tomorrow. But to say I'm ignoring Google+, basically what you're saying is, you're giving the finger to Google, right? Google's saying to you, we want you on Google+. And then there are those people who will say, oh yeah, they're forcing me. They're forcing you? Really? I'm pretty sure you can use Yahoo Mail. Don't use Google if you feel like they're forcing you. Don't use Google. Don't use, Google Search, Gmail, Google Maps, Calendar, all the things that Google offers you for free that are leading the industry, including Android. They're saying to you, you want to use our product, we're unifying them all with one social layer called Google+. You don't want to use it? By all means, use Hotmail or Yahoo Mail. If you do want to use it, don't complain that they're forcing you. You're using it out of choice. D Woo, hi. Wait, let me see who you are. Man, Meerkat's acting up on me. All right. Anyway, hi there. We can hear you. You can't mention Google+. We said that already. Loud and clear. Good morning, Tel Aviv. Hear you. Beautiful. Can't hear you now. Okay, good. I hope we're okay now. My point is like this. No matter how you want to look at it, right? If you want search traffic, and everyone wants search traffic. Who doesn't want search traffic? If you have a company or startup or whatever it is, you need to depend on search. Again, even in 2015, social will maybe drive you 20, 25%. If you're amazing, 30%, right? But search is all the way up there, equal if not more. You can't ignore search. By saying I'm not using Google+, you are ignoring search. Period. Yeah, Bing. Bing is actually pretty decent, but yeah, I don't remember last time I used Bing. But anyway, my point is I would highly recommend that if you're building out a marketing strategy, use content, use Twitter, use Facebook, use these things, but don't ignore Google+. I'm not saying you have to spend as much time there as other platforms. Every platform has its advantages and disadvantages, but don't ignore it. That's all I'm saying. Now, just back to the restaurant thing. Just going to sum it up for you guys. Opening up a restaurant, the first thing you need to do is put up a sign outside, right? That's the title on your webpage. What are you? Who are you? Why should I come in? Am I going to eat hamburgers or am I going to eat pizza? What am I going to get when I come into your restaurant? That is your title, so that when I come across your website on search, I know to click through because it appeals to me. First and foremost, someone comes into your restaurant and the food's not good, you lost them. Someone comes into your website and the content's not good, you lost them. Your food is your product. Your content is your product, right? It's going to drive traffic. It's going to drive branding. It's going to drive value. You need to write good content. You need to keep it fresh, right? Like a restaurant. And it needs to be tasty. It needs to be good and juicy and good. Doesn't Bing use the Yahoo search engine? Yes, it does. Oh, I see. I can't stand people. Oh, yeah. Anyway, content's the most important thing. Food's the most important thing. Your website is your restaurant. Keep the food good and fresh and interesting so that I come back. That's one. That's two. Third thing is atmosphere, right? At the end of the day, if your website's not pleasant to use, not a good user experience, when I say website, it could be your app. If it's not optimized, if it doesn't move fast, if it's not native, if it's not mobile, optimized, if it's your website, if there are links that lead nowhere, which, by the way, I just found today that I need to fix on my website. And again, by the way, I by no means, I'm talking philosophically about marketing, and I absolutely, try to apply these principles to myself. But it's a work in progress always. If it's not a work in progress, then you're doing something wrong. Someone once told me something beautiful, actually. Life is like a bicycle. This is good. This is gold. Write this down. Life is like a bicycle, right? If you're going uphill, it's always hard, right? If you're going uphill, you're always going to struggle. If you're improving yourself, you're doing something good to move up in the world, you'll always struggle. Going downhill is always easy. To fall is always easy. But the worst is to stand still. You stand still, you fall. That's it. Just like a bicycle. So, bottom line is you need to work on, we said, put a sign outside your restaurant, put a title on your website, great content, great atmosphere, optimize your site, make your app great user experience, make it delightful. At Zula, we like to call it, instead of the minimal viable MVP, minimal lovable product, MLP, minimal lovable product. So that's what we're working on. But what's your website, by the way? I'm talking about Zula's website. My personal blog is Tech and Marketing, Tech and Marketing. N, the letter N, techandmarketing.com. You can read my latest drone review I just did yesterday of the Bebop drone from Parrot. I wanted to change my Twitter picture, but I don't like my photo. Cool to use an old one? Why not? Yeah, just don't use a flag, Sherry. People want to see your face. Is Google buying Twitter? I don't believe that rumor, nor do I believe Twitter buying Flipboard. I hope that's not true. Fine, so we said, again, let's go over it. This is my problem with ADD. I go all over the place. Put up a sign, keep the content fresh, keep the food fresh, atmosphere. Make sure your site, your app is optimized, a good experience. Boom, boom, boom. Don't copy content. Don't copy a recipe from another menu, from another restaurant. Obviously, it applies much more in the world of content and SEO than it does in a restaurant, because if there's a winning recipe, then, you know, maybe you should copy it, make it your own. I don't know. But the point is, in SEO, in terms of, you know, search, don't just copy content, because you will be, you know, penalized, and you will get killed for that. And it's not a good idea. At the end of the day, the main kind of comparison here is that if you write good content, if you serve good food, food journals are going to write about you, and a food journal that writes about you, you know, that's the New York Times, is not the same as Hillel Fold writing about you on his blog, right? There's authoritative sites, and that's measured in Google by, it could have been page ranks once upon a time. That's no longer relevant from what my understanding of the algorithm, but there are authoritative sites. So if you get a link back to you from you know, the New York Times, it's very, very different than if you get a link back from you from Hillel Fold, right? With all due respect. So that's the goal, to have big people write about you, big sites writing about you. And I'm telling you from experience, and I can show you many, many examples of small little blogs that I ran for small little companies with almost no resources that got linked from TechMeme and from TechCrunch and from CNN Money and from the world of content out there, linking to the small little company that I worked. And that's done through content. At the end of the day, if you're an authority in your space, and that's achieved through content, you will get links back to you. If you provide good food in your restaurant, you will get food journals talking about you. That's the bottom line. At the end of the day, you know, the comparison definitely continues. It's a very interesting comparison to make, but think about it. And if you guys are involved in the restaurant industry, I would love to hear your thoughts about the comparisons. But someone yesterday posted, when I posted this link to this stream on Facebook, someone said that they opened a restaurant and there's so many similarities, and I'm very interested to hear what other similarities there are. But there's definitely a common thread here between opening up a restaurant and marketing your startup, or building a marketing strategy. And it comes down to, at the end of the day, good content, good consistency, good environment / value, and getting people to talk about you via the value that you provide. That is all. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I will try to do another Meerkat tomorrow morning. I am, you know, letting you know that there are a lot of topics that I'm very passionate about, but if you want to hear a certain topic, you know, then shoot me like a tweet or something and be like, could you talk about this? And I'll be like, I don't know anything about that. Or I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll talk about it. So if you have any good ideas for Meerkats, then definitely shoot me a tweet or an email, whatever it is, and I will try to address it, and I'll obviously give you a shout out and give you credit for the idea. That is all, folks. I am off to WeWork here in Tel Aviv and to Zula HQ. It's going to be a good day. A lot of cool stuff happening, really cool stuff happening. I'm hoping you guys are going to love it. And peace. Thank you very much for coming in. Have a good day, evening, night, wherever you may be in the world. Thanks again. How many people? 128. Sweet.